According to an October 2020 article on Statista.com, there were about 5.2 million head of sheep and lambs in the United States in 2020. The topic of disease control and vaccinating your sheep herd should be important to you because you want to keep your flock as healthy as possible. Vaccinating your animals is a necessity. Today we will look at some of the reasons that disease control and vaccinating your sheep herd is a smart business decision. Let's start off today with one of the easiest ways to control diseases on your farm. The easiest way for disease to come into your farm is by other animals coming to your farm from other flocks. According to the article Sheep 2011, Part 3, the longer an operation goes without adding animals, the higher certainty that no asymptomatic but infected animals will exist in the flock. The less animals that you bring onto your farm, the less you have to worry about sickness. Remember, even if animals are brought onto your farm from another farm, they should be up to date on all vaccinations. One of the most known and watched for diseases in sheep is called scabies. Scabies can affect the central nervous system in any sheep. It is deadly and very contagious, and stopping this disease is very important since there is no treatment or vaccine available for scabies. Some of the ways to control a scabies outbreak are doing selective breeding for scabies genetic resistant sheep, conducting scabies tests to the female sheep often, isolation of infected animals from other animals, and animal identification and record keeping. Since scabies are so contagious and deadly, all sheep are required by the USDA to be either tattooed or have a scabies identification tag. This is a scabies identification tag. It looks just like this. And the tag includes your farm number, which is right here, this IL number, followed by an identification number that is specific to the sheep that this tag goes on. These tags are used by the USDA and other farms as a way to trace scabies or even other diseases back to the farm where the animal originally came from. These tags are also used when the animal is sold or when health papers for a show are needed. There are different types of diseases that are important to vaccinate lambs for. The most common shot given to a lamb is called CDT. This will help prevent enterotoxemia type C and D, or more commonly known as overeating disease. Type C can cause scours in the first few weeks of a lamb's life, and type D is also called pulp kidney disease, and it affects lambs over the age of 1 month. These vaccinations are important to a lamb's health and well-being. Vaccinations in pregnant ewes will also help protect the lamb. Although these shots are not required, they are necessary, and they can greatly help increase a lamb's chance of survival. And this here is, it shows, it's a graph, it's kind of hard to read, but it starts here, and if you give it to them between 1 and 2 weeks where their chances are high, it has a curve and it goes down. So if you start here and you give them the shot where it's the highest that the overeating disease can take effect and do something to the lamb, it then lessens as time goes out. Another reason that vaccination is important is if the animals are going to be shown at a 4-H fair, a county fair, a state fair, a national fair, a national show like NALE. These the livestock that are shown at those shows have to have their vaccination records are required. At the 2020 Illinois State Fair, one requirement was that you must show the results of required tests and or vaccinations. You have to have that on your health papers when you go. You go to the vet, they're good for so many days. And if you don't have those papers, if you don't have the health papers showing that they've had their vaccinations, you don't show at the fair. It's as simple as that. You could drive 3 hours, you don't have these papers, you turn around and go home. They don't want you to bring any disease from your farm onto the fairground to infect hundreds and possibly thousands of other animals. So in conclusion today, the vaccinations are important. They play a huge role not only in the health of the lambs, but your whole flock. The shots that you give the lambs will prevent a lot of diseases that could potentially harm the entire herd of sheep at your farm. There is not just an effect on the animal that is sick, but on the person that is raising the animal. There's lost income and an emotional toll it takes on losing an animal. I vaccinate my animals like I would vaccinate my kids. I don't want my kids getting sick. I don't want my animals getting sick. Thank you for listening today and have a good day.